Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome out here to the Lucas Oil Raceway Park of Indianapolis, or as I like to call it, IRP, for another great night of racing. Getting ready to come on here. I am Upstate Al, bringing you all of tonight's racing action. Alongside me, my great sidekick, the Kelly Doll. Kelly, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm well fed from the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend, so I have got a lot of energy to get through this race here tonight. We've got a long one here at the 125 laps up on the schedule and getting ready to get into our qualifying in just a few moments.
Yeah, IRP, a big, about 5/8 of a mile racetrack. Last week, race winner was Bryan Hacker, and as we take a look at the info for tonight's race, this was race number 6, just shy of the halfway point. Like I said, just under about 7/10 of a mile here. 125 laps or 85 miles. Unlimited sets of those Hoosier racing tires in there, and Dante Curtis has the most wins with 3. Him and Ryan Johnson have both tied with that. Track record is set by Mr. Curtis, but he is not here tonight. And he leads the points. As we take a look at that real quick too, Kelly, is big shakeup in the points there. Dante, well, he's got his priorities a little bit backwards, if you ask me. He's choosing real life over NSRL, and I think that's uncalled for.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's got some new work obligations coming up that may prevent him from coming back this season, which really will shake the points up, especially starting tonight, as Ryan Johnson was just 10 points behind him, and he will overtake that tonight. Bryan Hacker will now most likely move himself up into second place. He's 21 points back, so 11 back of Johnson. Then you've got Scott Austin and Dustin Shepard as well, very close on points with 193 and 189. So it's going to make this a very tight championship race towards the end of the season. I think this is the last race before our halfway point, so we are getting ready for the downswing, and we are kind of shaping up what this championship battle is going to look like.
That we are, and it's going to be an interesting run to the championship as we come back to some live pictures as we look at the 69 of Randy Nichols out on the racetrack, and we'll look here at what is our best times out here on the racetrack as we look to see who's got what for a fast time, and it is Randy Nichols going to the top of the scoring pylon with a 24.43. As we take a look here at the 00, Josh Nelms coming across the stripe. He's going to go 9th on lap number 1. So Nichols and Eschen, your top 2 so far here, and Dulaweiser pole award qualifying here at the IRP Speedway. In this track, Kelly, I know you said you haven't really watched too many full fender races here, and it's one of the few tracks on the service that you've been to. But this track here always providing a lot of 2 and 3 groove racing, and I'm expecting the same here, especially out of the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series here for round number 6.
Yeah, it's looking like these cars are really preferring the second lane. A lot of cars I've seen have actually preferred the very top, but it seems like tonight they want to be running that middle, which will allow the inside for an option for a slide job on the pass, or if a driver is just carrying enough speed, maybe they can work that high line and work their way around. However, I'm already seeing quite a bit of marbles starting to build up on that high side.
I think that's going to be the key coming in here is just seeing who runs where and where the line develops here with these street stock cars. As we look at last week's winner, the number 2 of Bryan Hacker out there for his qualifying run, and merely just out there trying to get, I believe their qualifying points. I can't remember. Oh, God, I'm terrible. But out there doing that, but Hacker going to have to start at the tail of the field, virtue of his win last week at the Hickory Motor Speedway.
Yeah, so he gets the success penalty. He's going to move to the back. He's still looking for that fast time award. However, he looks like he's going to miss it just barely. He only puts up a 24.501. Mike Alexander with a 4.45. However, no one can touch Randy Nichols with that 4.35 he was able to run a little bit earlier.
Yeah, right now as Philip Martin comes up off the corner in the number 46 DCD entry. He's going to slot into third quick with a 24.47. So 24.47 is a few more cars up on the racetrack. The number 89 of Dustin Shepard. He's sporting a Camaro this week, and I've heard some rumors down in the garage area where they feel like the old Camaro is a little bit better aero-wise on the bigger tracks here. So interesting to see that these guys have multiple street stocks. Usually you don't see that in a street stock series, or the teams having multiple different cars and body styles available for them in a season. And, well, they just prove us wrong, Yeah,
there's a couple cars not taking a time here, but time has run out. So Randy Nichols will be your Dulaweiser Pole Award winner. We're going to have to get our top 8 together. Well, it's going to be actually minus Bryan Hacker, so we'll be taking Matt Dula as well, and we'll get those guys together, and we'll get ourselves our redraw here.
As we take that, we'll take a moment to thank ZooFab Garage, your title sponsor for the 2024 ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series, located in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. ZooFab Garage is your one-stop shop for fabrication and power on your performance vehicles, track car, or street car. Find them on Facebook to contact them and start your next project today. Kelly's Custom Engraving is located locally owned and operated business in North Carolina, especially in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to like them on Facebook and see what they're up to today. And RC2 Promotions, the redraw sponsor that we're headed into. They do everything for event management. Check them out on Facebook, RC2RP. And we were headed into that RC2 Promotions Top 8 redraw, where drivers can choose 1 through 8 and see where they will start here tonight, Kelly, as we get ready to do that. I think the drivers are formulating, getting into where we are able to get to them and talk to them. We will take a look here and see that, and it looks like we'll be talking to Randy Nichols first. Here is Randy Nichols setting the Dulaweiser Fast Time Award here tonight. Randy, a very fast lap time, a 24.435. Congratulations on grabbing the Dulaweiser Pole Award here tonight. That means you're the first driver to play the Russian roulette here for the RC2 Promotions Top 8 redraw.
Hey, what's going on? Appreciate it, guys.
Well, how's the car feeling? Obviously, you got a pretty fast hot rod out there, but how you feeling here before we make you draw 1 through 8?
It's pretty loose. Gonna be all about throttle control tonight, it seems like, because the track's pretty hot too.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, but now it's the hard job. You got to choose 1 through 8 to find out where you're going to be starting here this afternoon. Which number are you going to choose?
Let's go with 4.
Going to go with the number 4 coming off the board, and number 4 is going to be P3, Randy. P3 for Randy Nichols. So, going to slot back 1 row from where you would if you would start heads up. How's that sound for tonight?
It's a lot better than drawing a P8, so I'm pretty happy with that because, like you said, it's like playing Russian roulette. Don't know what you're gonna get, so I'm happy with at least slotting back 1 spot.
Well, congratulations on that Dulaweiser Pole Award, and we look forward to seeing what you can do here from P number 3. Good luck tonight.
All right, thanks, guys.
Here you go, Kelly. That was our Dulaweiser Pole Award, and I believe you caught up with Mike Alexander.
Yeah, catching up now with Mike Alexander. Mike, you're running the second fastest time in qualifying, and what are you feeling on the track there tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good tonight. I wasn't sure how this was going to go. I never ran these here, but it seems to be fitting my driving style, and I think I got a pretty good piece for tonight.
All right, well, what was the number that was taken off the board? That was the number 4 is already off the board, so anything other than that is up to you. What number are you going to take tonight?
Let's go with 7.
All right, number 7 is gonna be P number 8 for you, Mike. Gonna have to start on the outside of road number 4.
That's all right. Like I said, we got a good piece. I think we'll be all right.
125 laps is going to be a long one here. What's going to take to keep those wheels underneath you?
Well, I'm going to try to save my tires. I haven't been doing a very good job of it, but that's all I did practice is just tested my long runs. So we'll see if it paid off.
Well, good luck here tonight, Mike. We got to move on down, but congratulations on being in the RC2 Promotions Top 8 redraw.
Appreciate it.
So we're going to move along here, catch up to our third fastest qualifier. That is going to be the driver, the number 46, Philip Martin. And Philip, it is going back to another hot track here. I mean, how loose is it underneath your car tonight?
It's definitely wearing the right rear. Probably 15, 20-ish degrees on a 20, 25 lap run. So it's eating it up.
All right, well, before we let you go out there, we have got a redraw here for you. I believe number 4 and 7 have already been taken. So other than those, you have a free choice. What would you like?
Let's go 3.
All right, number 3. And it is going to be P7 for you, Philip. P7 inside road number 4.
Alrighty, thank you guys.
All right, we'll quickly roll along then here. We'll move on. We're going to have to skip over Bryan Hacker, who is our 4th fastest qualifier, but because he won last week's race, he'll be moving to the back. So we will move along here. We'll pick up the driver of the number 23, Gary Eschen. Gary, this is more of an open wheel track here at IRP. How are you feeling in these street stocks tonight?
Not too bad. I practiced a little bit last night. It's gonna be all about saving tires. These tracks are very hot and slick, so might make it a little hard to pass, but hopefully we can stay up front and be there at the end.
All right, you have your choice of 1, 2, 5, 6, or 8. What would you like tonight?
Let's go 5.
Number 5. Gonna be a P4 for you, Gary. P number 4.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, best of luck to you here, and congratulations on being part of the RC2 Promotions Top 8 redraw.
Thank you.
There you go, Gary. Actually, going to roll off in P number 4 as we move down. Travis Hoffler, who survived the hurricane and made the track all the way here to IRP. Is Travis going to be our next driver to choose as we're halfway down? Still 1, 2, 6, and 8 to draw from. But Travis, first of all, glad to see you made it back here, and glad that everything that seems to be trending up there for your hometown.
Oh yeah, we made it out pretty good. Had a little bit of water come in the house, but nothing crazy, like some of my friends and some other people I know. But yeah, glad to be back.
Well, you got the 1, 2, 6, and 8 to draw. The poll is still out there somewhere. What number would you like?
That'll be the number 1, right?
Number 1?
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Number 1 is going to be P6 outside of road number 3. Is outside where you want to be here tonight, or are we going to see that inside lane come into play, you think?
Well, as long as I can keep it out of the wall, I think we'll be all right on the outside and kind of keep the momentum up out there and let the thing roll. But, got to keep it out of the wall.
Well, the best of luck here tonight. We look forward to see what this number 20 can do here in a little bit later on in this main event.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There you go, Travis Hoffler going to roll off in P number 6, Kelly. And I believe you caught up with Dustin Shepard.
Yeah, I got to get here with Dustin Shepard. Dustin, sorry, we are kind of running a bit out of time here, so we're going to keep moving along fairly quickly here. We have got the 2, 6, and 8 for you to choose from tonight.
Let's go with the 8.
Number 8. It is going to be the pole for you, Mr. Shepard.
Yes. Finally, something goes my way.
I was just going to say, finally, not something towards the back of the RC2 promotion
Yes.
top 8 redraw.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on that pole. What's it going to take to keep that car up there?
Just managing the right rear. Like I said, I've been playing some different offsets, trying different things, different lines, and I feel pretty confident. I said we'll see how the race goes. I said if it goes green, I'll probably struggle on a full fuel load, but as long as I can keep in the top 5, I'll be happy.
Well, best of luck here today. We're going to move along here, but good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Kelly, and I believe you're going to catch up with Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, moving along here to the driver of the number 38, Ryan Johnson. Ryan, I believe tonight you have a good chance to take over the championship lead. So is your focus now could be changing to that year-long championship?
Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't hear most of that.
Well, we're kind of running out of time here, so let's get you to make your pick here. You have a choice between 2 or 6. What would you like?
Let's go with 2.
And it's going to be P number 5 for you, Ryan. P number 5.
Alrighty. Thanks, guys.
Good luck tonight in the race.
Thank you.
All right, one more driver to go, and that is going to be the driver of the 17, Matt Dula. So, Matt, we have got everyone has made their pick, so we'll just let you know what you got. Al, spin the wheel. What has Matt Dula ended up taking tonight?
Matt Dula is going to be on the outside of row number 1, P number 2 for a starting spot for the Doloweiser number 17.
Whoa. Well, how about that?
That was a good draw,
you.
That was a good draw for you.
Yeah, no doubt. Very happy to get this special paint scheme. App State, please donate to the American Red Cross. Chevy up here towards the front. Let's see if we can get some airtime and get some donations rolling in.
Absolutely, and thank you guys. NSRL doing a great job with that. We're going to touch base on that right now and let everybody know how they can participate and help donate with that here as well. Matt, congratulations on making it into the RC2 Promotions Top 8 redraw. We wish you the best of luck here for tonight's main event.
Excellent. Thanks, y'all. Hope we'll put on a good show.
All right, Kelly. So that is our Top 8 redraw presented by RC2 Promotions. So a lot of fast guys getting a little shuffled up there in our redraw once again. And that is a fun little thing that the NSRL does. But also would like to, let everyone know that tonight's race is the North Carolina Relief Fund Waffle to support the relief efforts in North Carolina following the impact of Hurricane Helen. The NSRL will be running a 75-25 waffle for the October 14th race here tonight. Supporters can purchase a lap for $5, guessing on how many laps Dan Janjanin will complete in that event. The person who has bought the last lap number that Dan completed will win 25% of the total pot, while the remaining 75% will be donated to the Hunger and Health Coalition of Boone, North Carolina. An updated list laps can be found in Discord. Donation entries can be sent to North South Racing League at gmail.com. That is via PayPal. Entries are $5 per piece or $5 for $20. So not a bad deal there, and help out what the people that are in need. And a lot of it's going to take a little bit of time there, but our grid is starting to form up here on the front stretch, and we'll get ready to go with tonight's starting lineup here for tonight's main event here. And it is going to be a good one. And here is your starting lineup. Starting on the pole, won't be Randy Nichols, but he set the Doloweiser pole award, but it'll be Dustin Shepard, P number 1. Outside of him, Matt Dula in car number 17. Nichols will roll off in spot number 3, Randy Nichols that is. And outside of him, the number 23 of Gary Eschen. Starting 5th will be Ryan Johnson. Outside of him, the driver out of Tampa, the number 20 of Travis Hoffler. Starting in the 7th spot, Philip Martin. 8th will be Mike Alexander. 9th spot will go to Adam Gable, and John Cross will round out your top 10.
Yeah, moving along here, we're going to have Dan Janjanin starting back there in P12. Robbie Clavey will be in 13th. Matthew Allen will be rolling off in 14th. The 15th will go to the 08 of Mark Keeler. Josh Nelms will be rolling off in 16th. Chad McLeod takes 17th. Scott Austin is going to hit the line at an 18th spot, and he is one of their first drivers that did not set a time. And then Jeff Bergener, who I don't believe has made the grid. Robbie Huntoon in 20th, and then Austin Williams as well has not made the grid. And then, of course, we'll have Bryan Hacker towards the back there.
He will, and he's going to have to start back there in P number, looks like 19 cars making the call. Kelly, 21 were here, but Bergener and Williams having a little bit of car issues, it sounds like. So, star-studded field here tonight, and what is going to be a good one for the North Carolina Strong 125 here at IRP. The field rolls into turns 3 and 4 as we get ready to go. Green flag racing for 125 laps. We'll keep an eye on how Dan Janjanin is doing. Green flag is up, and we are underway as Shepard mashes the gas.
Yeah, Shepard getting a good start there. Matt Dula a little bit slow off the drop, but the 23 of Gary Eschen pushed him along, and now through turns 1 and 2, we've seen the high line be the faster line, and is that going to be the case? Looks like it is, as that 17 of Dula is able to carry that momentum down the back straightaway and brings him around Randy Nichols. Nichols now having to defend from the 23 of Eschen. Eschen carrying a good amount of speed off that high side all around the corner. And off of turn number 4, he will take P3 at the line, but Dustin Shepard, our first leader of the night.
Yeah, Shepard out front over Dula in that 17 car. A little bit deeper in the pack, though. Chad McLeod, he was racing 3 wide there for a moment. Bryan Hacker trying to find a way around the 93 of McLeod as they work back here. Bryan Hacker already up into spot number 15, make it 14, up 5 spots since the green flag has dropped here tonight at the IRP for the North Carolina Strong 125. Back up front, Matt Dula. Center is Randy Nichols and Gary Eschen are still side by side trying to figure out who wants spot number 3.
Yeah, Nichols and Eschen are just leaning on each other, and looked like the 17 of Dula went way up the track, almost getting the wall in turn 3. He's able to recover and just kind of dime it off that corner and carry some momentum down the front straightaway. But still, that battle for third place has not gotten a winner yet. Now it looks like a little bit of an advantage to Randy Nichols, as there was a tap in the middle of 1 and 2. And that allowed that 69 car to get just a nose ahead. However, he still has not been able to completely clear the 23 of Eschen. Those two still just bumping and banging just ever so slightly. Very gentle taps on each side, but looks like that the advantage is now starting to go towards the 69 of Nichols.
Yeah, Nichols able to work that inside line a little bit better. And I'll be quite honest with you, if I was going to put my money on which lane you wanted to be in, I would have said the outside. But so far, Nichols doing a good job running the shorter distance around the IRP race track here. He's going to take sole possession of spot number 3 here on at completion of lap number 5.
Yeah, now Eschen trying to get down the track, trying to get a little bit of momentum off of that banking, but just doesn't quite help him at all. Now, big move behind them. Alexander getting right underneath the 46 of Philip Martin. He's going to try to just slide up in front of him. However, Martin's got that preferred lane on the second lane. He's going to have the momentum down the front straightaway. It is going to be Mike Alexander at the line. He's going to have to dive it down into turn 1 here to clear the 46 car, but he is going to get that move done.
He's going to get that pass there right behind him, the 91 of Adam Gable and Travis Hoffler right in that 9th spot. Dan Janjanin, well, if you had laps 1 through 6, thank you for your donation. As Janjanin still on the racetrack, still facing in the right direction. You know, a good thing for that Dan has broad shoulders and can take all the picking and ribbon at the North-South Racing as they do it in good fun here tonight and for a good cause. And how about the number 2 of Bryan Hacker? He's already into that spot number 12, Kelly, as he works there behind the cross number 10.
Yeah, now he's getting underneath the 10 as the 10 goes up the track into that third lane that is covered in marbles. And now it is going to be at the line. Still going to be the 10 of Cross holding on to P11, but coming through 1 and 2, Bryan Hacker trying to run that middle lane just a little bit better, kind of right on that dotted line. And he is going to get his nose ahead down the back straightaway. Just in front of them is Dan Janjanin, who is holding on to the last spot in the top 10. He is still managing to keep that car pointing in the right direction, and now Bryan Hacker is going to get clear of Jonathan Cross, so Dan Janjanin is the next up for Bryan Hacker.
And don't look now, but Randy Nichols is going to take away that number 2 spot. He brought a fast Thunderbird here tonight in that 69 car. He set the Dula fast time in qualifying. Gary Eschen now going to work around the 17 of Dula as well as they work down here in the turn number 1. Eschen down low in that white and pink number 23. Gary Eschen going to go there. His 17 car starting to look a little bit free there. Kelly almost came down and shut the door on Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson had to get on the binders there, slow that car up to make sure he didn't send the 17 around. And we are going to keep the noses clean of all these cars right now, as there's a little bit of struggle happening for the 17 of Dula. He is having some trouble keeping it in that preferred lane. He's going a little bit higher up where it just doesn't quite seem that there's the grip here tonight. As now he is kind of sorting that 17 out a little bit, but so we'll see if he has been able to cool off the tires a little bit, or if he's still going to be under attack here from Ryan Johnson, who seems to be closing up that gap a little.
Yeah, right now your top 7 cars are nose to tail, just a little bit of a gap back to the 20 of Hoffler and the 91 of Gable, as they all run nose to tail. Here you can see the 38 of Ryan Johnson. They're all running different lines as they enter the corner there, as we go from high above with our blimp cam momentarily. You can just see Johnson able to keep that car a little bit straighter up off the corner, and that Wisco number 38 as he is right there hounding the back side of the 17 of Matt Dula.
And Dula still managing to hold on to fourth place, as everyone kind of seems to be nose to tail here throughout at least the first 7 cars. And the next car back, Adam Gable, he is a few seconds back off of the leader, about 2.5, and nearly a full second back from Philip Martin, who kind of is the caboose on that 7-car chain on the front of the field.
Bryan Hacker going to knock his way into the, not knock his way, but come through into the 9th spot inside the top 10 already, Kelly. After just 14, make it 15 laps of completed racing, Hacker has gone from 19th to sitting in 9th. That's up 10 spots since the green flag has dropped. Scott Austin.
He is moving.
Oh, go ahead.
Now Scott Austin now trying to get around Dan Janjanin, as Janjanin is way up towards the wall there, and Austin just carrying a bit more speed down the back straightaway now. Side by side into turns 3 and 4, completely even up in turn 4, but give the advantage. Oh yeah, definitely there, as Scott Austin goes flying past Janjanin, who had to get off the throttle to make sure he didn't go into the wall off of turn 4.
And Mark Keeler is off the pace, headed the pit road in the 08, so a tough break for him as the field will flash by. But Randy Nichols, he is on the hunt as we go on board with him. Looking out that right side of the helmet, he is all over the back side of Dustin Shepard, as Shepard looking to hold on to that race lead, and you can see how much they're working the wheel up off turn number 2.
Yeah, these cars are loose, and that is actually what caught Mark Keeler out, as he kind of had a single car spin, got into the wall, and ripped the front end of that car off. But because he was off the racing surface, we stayed under green flag conditions. And now we've got a bit of a 3-car breakaway, as we've got Dustin Shepard, Randy Nichols, and Gary Eschen all battling for the race lead. And then just behind them, we got Dula, Johnson, Alexander, and Martin holding on to those next 4 spots. As yeah, you can throw a blanket over those top 3, as they're completely on top of each other.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson now going to take a look to the inside. 1 lap ago, he was one of the fastest cars, the fastest car on the racetrack. Well, that was the 2 of the Huntley, Illinois driver of Bryan Hacker. But Johnson now to the inside underneath Dula, and he's looking to bring the 75 of Mike Alexander. Alexander from north of the border here, one of our Canadian competitors, Kelly, and always fast out there on the racetrack, and finds himself now inside the top 5.
It looks like the top 3 are all running a little bit of a different line here, as they're trying to find a way around each other. As though the 23 of Eschen getting in a little hot into turn 1 nearly gets into Randy Nichols, just barely scrapes across that bumper, I think. Maybe just a little bit of paint traded between the two, but didn't seem to affect either driver at all. But these guys are really trying some different lines out here, trying to find some different grip as they're coming all the way down onto the apron in turn 4, trying to shorten up that corner a little bit, get a run possibly on the guy in front, as once again, Eschen nearly getting into the back of Nichols, as those two are taking wildly different lines into turn 1.
I am really impressed with the different lines and how racy the IRP racetrack is really being here this afternoon for as they beat it down underneath the sun. And the top three, all like you said, Kelly, all different lanes. And as they battle it out now, that was what was a 3-car battle has now become quickly a 7-car battle once again.
Yeah, look at Johnson. He is all over the back end of Gary Eschen as he managed to get himself around Matt Dula. Dula had to drop all the way back to the end of this chain of cars. And now we are seeing all these different lines that are starting to take shape here. Actually, that is not going to work out for Randy Nichols. He gets a little bit of a wobble off of turn 4, and he is going to have to give up that preferred lane to the 23 of Eschen. Is now Eschen trying to work around the outside. Nichols still trying to see if he can make that bottom side work. It is not going to happen as he can't go all the way up to the wall to continue his momentum. He has to let off there and allow Gary Eschen through, and I think he is going to now get kind of freight trained to the back as now Ryan Johnson is alongside him.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson, we are on board with him working the outside. You can see him working up the racetrack. Just a few laps ago, though, they were right down on that yellow line. But Johnson with the momentum on the outside, he's going to draw even down the back stretch. Ryan Johnson looking to move into that number 3 spot, putting himself up 5 positions from his 8th place qualifying time. Remember, he started a little bit better than that with our redraw. Johnson starting in 5th, so only really climbing 2 spots so far, but staying right there and looking like I have a good piece underneath him as he motors off turn number 2.
Yeah, and I mean, qualifying is only one thing, especially at a track like this with the amount of laps that we have got, as well as you have to just be able to maintain those tires and keep them in good condition, especially those right rears, as the drivers are mentioning, as this is a very hot track, 116 degrees Fahrenheit, and I think that temperature is climbing too.
And you got to remember now, already 26 laps. They work lap 27. Only 40% fuel in the gas tank. So this race seeming to have, knock on a little bit of wood, Kelly, rub your lucky rabbit's foot or your horseshoe, a green flag feel to it. We might see some green flag pit stops here as the fuel burns off of these race cars. My feeling is they're going to be wanting tires before they actually need fuel.
Yeah, that's likely the case, as we are already about 0.4 of a second slower, 4 to 5, depending on the driver, compared to their fastest laps earlier on in this race. So these tires are burning up and they are going slower, and I don't think they're going to get any sort of relief. Even if we were to get a caution, these drivers would be able to cool them off just a little bit, but these tires are wearing. As you can see, these guys are getting really loose through these corners.
We're on board with Scott Austin, another driver from Illinois, looking back as he just worked around the 20 of Hoffler. And Scott started back in spot number 18, finds himself in the 10th spot. Remember, he came into tonight inside of the top 5 in the championship standings, having a good solid season here start as we close in on the halfway point of this 13 race season.
Well, Mark Keeler is coming back out on the racetrack. However, we have lost another driver from this race. Matthew Allen has lost connection, so he has been forced to drop out. So we have 17 cars still on the lead lap. Mark Keeler is back on the racetrack, but he's 13 laps down. As we continue to focus on this 5-car battle for the race lead, it looked like Gary Eschen was really close to Dustin Shepard there through 1 and 2, but has not quite found the way that he is going to get around him. It looks like he's going to have a good run here down off of turn 4. Good run down the front straightaway. He's going to get his nose just to the bumper of the 89 car, and that is going to force the 89 to give him some space. Eschen slides right up against Shepard. Shepard having to go high as Eschen gets right down on the exit of the corner, but a good run from Shepard off on that high side. He is going to carry that momentum, and they're going to be side by side still into turns 3 and 4. We have to see now coming off of turn number 4 who's going to have it at the line. Is it still going to be Dustin Shepard as our sole race leader? He is for the time being, but Eschen is carrying some good momentum. Good slide up there in 1 and 2. Can't quite get clear of Shepard, but good run off the corner now for Shepard as he fights back on the back straightaway.
Shepard working it outside. Remember, in our RC2 promotions top 8 redraw, Shepard was a little bit nervous about a long run, so he wasn't that good on the long runs. So far, he's led every single lap, leading that lap there just by a bumper nose, though. And Ryan Johnson trying to figure out which lane to go with Randy Nichols and Mike Alexander. And they have started to open up over the 46 of Philip Martin, who runs in the 6th spot. And good stuff up here on the front. They are still door-to-door off of turn number 4. They'll drag race down the front stretch. And at the line, Shepard getting credit for that lap.
Yeah, Shepard still maintaining the race lead, but just barely. That was .008 at the line over Gary Eschen. And now Shepard, a little bit of a tap on the wall down the back straightaway. Again, scrapes it right before the entrance of turn 3. As the rest of the drivers behind are just kind of forced to just wait and see what these two will do, because there's not quite space for them to get a 3-wide run here without losing a bunch of time. But now Ryan Johnson having to defend a little bit as the 69 of Randy Nichols tries to get underneath him. As now Gary Eschen has to drop back as Dustin Shepard was able to get clear of him.
Yeah, and I believe maybe Eschen going back up into that outside lane, maybe to try to cool down those tires a little bit, Kelly. Maybe got him a little bit hot, didn't like the forward drive he was getting. And now still applying a lot of pressure. The top 3 all run different lines on the entrance to turn number 1. And as I said, Eschen right back to the inside. He is on the attack once again down here into turn number 3. Eschen trying to put that number 23 with the mill on the quarter panels, trying to put that car out front. Shepard will lead lap number 37.
Oh, now Eschen having to drop back and nearly cuts Johnson off going back into line there into turn 1. Now Johnson getting right up to the back end of Eschen. However, cannot get the space for a run on the back straightaway. Now just behind them, looks like the 75 of Alexander. He's looking for an opportunity to get around Randy Nichols, nearly getting into the corner panel of that 69 car. And now as well, at the same time, at the front of the field, Eschen nearly got himself to the outside of Dustin Shepard.
He did, and the top 5 really starting to mix it up here. And where did he come from? The number 2 of Bryan Hacker. He is just off there sniffing at. You can see him just to the right side of the screen for a moment. Hacker all the way from 19th into 6th here in the opening 38 laps.
Yeah, and he is closing up on this lead group of 5 as they are battling for position once again. Alexander trying to get to the inside of Nichols, trying to make that inside line work as we are dealing with some lap traffic. That is the 8 of Mark Keeler, who has come out of the pits 13 laps down, now make him 14 laps down as he is nursing a damaged race car for as much points as he can get here tonight. As now look at the 69 car going way up the racetrack, trying to see if he can get around Johnson that way. And now here comes Eschen, a good run on the high side, big momentum on the front straightaway. He's going to take the race lead. He's going to get clear into turn 1.
Our first lead change of the afternoon coming on lap number 40. Gary Eschen becoming our second race leader is now Shepard under attack by Johnson. Johnson working the outside of him. He'll take that number 2 spot away. Randy Nichols lined up there as well. As the work there is Matt Doula's the first car to come to pit road on lap number 42.
Yeah, Matt Doula was struggling after losing the ground on the front, or at the front of the field. And he went way back in the pack here and decided to just come down pit road, get some fresh tires on that thing. But everyone else is maintaining their position for now, staying out on the track. I don't think anyone else has decided to come down just yet. And Dustin Shepard, though, as if he keeps losing ground like this, he may start considering it. He has been cleared by Randy Nichols. And now here comes Mike Alexander. He is going to work that high side, which we have seen as to be the faster line here tonight. And it looks like that Dustin Shepard is not going to be able to defend very well on that bottom side.
Oh, and Bryan Hacker already in there. That would be for the 5th spot. So Hacker trying to make some ground up here. And a track that they say is relatively hard to pass on. Hacker up 14 spots from 19th to the 5th spot with the top 4 right there in his crosshairs. And picking up the win 1 week ago at the Hickory Motor Speedway for the race down there, the Hat Job 125 in his namesake. Well, tonight looking to maybe become our first repeat winner of the season.
Yeah, we have only had a mix of drivers here. No one has gone back-to-back or repeated at all this season. So we'll see if he can become our first driver to do so. But Gary Eschen is holding a good lead now over Ryan Johnson, trying to open up that gap a little bit as these top 5 have continued to stay pretty tight together. The 89, though, of Dustin Shepard, he is now starting to drop off the back of them.
Yeah, Shepard has lost a sniff of the draft right now. Back a half second behind Bryan Hacker. The top 5 cars nose to tail as they work down the back stretch. Scott Austin into the 8th spot. Right behind him, Adam Gable. And Gable's going to start feeling some pressure from the 20 of Hoffler. And Rodney Huntoon up there in the spot number 11. He's looking for a top 12 run here as he comes off the corner at number 4 in that number 12 car. That was a good run up off of turn number 4.
Oh, big trouble for the 75 of Alexander, getting all sorts of loose in turn 2. He actually gets into the wall a little bit, and that is going to allow Bryan Hacker to get through. So Hacker now up into 4th place after starting all the way back on the tail end of the field. He was the winner last week, so which forced him to take an EOL to start the night, and now he has wasted no time. Still more than half the race to go, and he has gotten himself up to 4th place.
He's got to like how that car feels underneath him right now as Huntoon now makes a move underneath Hoffler for the 12th spot in that number 12 automobile, working down here in the turns 3 and 4 as we look from our drone camera. And Huntoon into that 10th spot there. Another one of our short track ringers. Loves the short track racing. Doesn't matter the league or the car. You can find Huntoon in there as he is out there. And what I would never run green on a race car, Kelly.
Yeah, a lot of people do consider it to be bad luck. It seems to be working for Huntoon here tonight. However, we got to take a look at Bryan Hacker once again, and we got to start talking about this guy a little bit more because he is now right on the bumper of Randy Nichols, now looking towards the inside off of turn 2. Does not have the speed to make a move into turn 3 after coming down that back straightaway, so it is still going to be Randy Nichols holding on to that 3rd place, but he is under pressure and under attack from Bryan Hacker as once again Hacker trying to find a space underneath him.
They might have to take those tires and do a tire dip on them or something to find out what that number 2 has got there. He is fast and now into a podium spot is the number 2 car as he works by Randy Nichols down the backstretch. Nichols off the pace and he's going to dive to pit road. So our first leader to come down pit road here on lap number 50 as the field flashes across to put lap 51 into the book. So 51 laps and we are starting to see some takers on pit road as Travis Hoffler also comes down pit road.
One thing I've noticed is that actually Matt Dula is still on pit road, so I don't think that was a regular pit stop. Looking at his car, though, I don't see any damage at the moment, so they may have banged that out, but Matt Dula is now 10 laps down after starting towards the front end of the field. Gary Eschen now trying to make his way through some lap traffic as he puts Robbie Clavey a lap down, and now Ryan Johnson having a little bit of trouble with that lap traffic. Clavey having to go way up to the wall to allow him through.
Yeah, Ryan is going to move there now. Bryan Hacker as well around Robbie Clavey. He'll be our first car 1 lap down. If the yellow flag were to fly, he would get back onto the lead lap with a wave around. The top 3 cars now kind of separating themselves. I think we're starting to see that tire wear come into play a lot, Kelly, as the top 3 have kind of left. 4th place running Mike Alexander and Dustin Shepard a little bit behind them.
Yeah, now we are seeing where Randy Nichols has come out here. He is slotted in just behind Gary Eschen. I believe that will make him 2 laps down. So a driver will lose 2 laps for a pit stop. But if a caution were to come out now, it would also trap them at least a lap down still because I think they would only get the 1 lap back under caution. So I think it's in these drivers' best interest to just go as long as they possibly can here unless they expect the race to go green the entire way through.
Yeah, and I think it's hard as now Hacker pressuring Johnson for spot number 2. He'll dive to the inside off of turn number 4, and he's going to try to drag race him down the front stretch, but tucks it back in line. So the Austin Designs number 2 automobile is up here trying to make something happen here as we close in on the halfway point of this 125 lap affair. Is now McLeod coming down pit road in the 93 automobile. All you out there to have money on the line, Dan Janjanin still out there in this number 2 car working down the back stretch. Has made it to lap number 56 as they work lap 57. So right now, Robbie Clavey's hoping for trouble as he would pick up the win. And as the start of the race, Kelly, $191 and change going to be donated to the the Food Coalition for Boone, North Carolina. So this racing league doing a good job here for the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series, trying to raise some money to help the folks in need.
Yeah, good amount of money raised for such a small group. As you said, $191.25 is going to charity, and $63.75 will be going to the winner of our little challenge here tonight. And we've got to take a mention here of Gary Eschen. Suddenly he has opened up a huge gap. It is 2 seconds between himself and the second place of Bryan Hacker, who is still under a little bit of pressure from Ryan Johnson. As Eschen did get past a few moments ago by the 69 of Nichols. So Nichols has got himself 1 lap down. So if he were to get a caution now, he would get himself back onto the lead lap. But I think he is hoping for this race to go green here, because I think if Eschen were to pit now, it would probably, after the pit cycle is through, it would probably put Eschen in second place.
Yeah, and right now, him, Eschen, and Hacker for the cars that have stayed out last time by a 25.44 lap. Guys on fresh tires, as Eschen peels off the racetrack, that's going to give the race lead to Bryan Hacker. This is speed difference, Kelly, with fresh tires. They're running 24.9s, almost a half a second difference.
Well, Gary Eschen has come down pit road. He has decided to call it there, and he wants to get new tires on that machine. But Bryan Hacker will take over the race lead. He has opened up the gap now over Ryan Johnson, as they were pretty much nose to tail just a couple laps ago. Now suddenly there's 0.8 between them and growing. I think it's 9 now coming to the start finish line. So Bryan Hacker starting in the back of the field, and now through the virtue of the pit cycle, he has found himself in the race lead.
Yeah,
we are getting very close to the halfway point of this race.
Pretty impressive, if you ask me, Kelly, that he's able to drive from 19th in what has been an all-green flag affair so far here at the Lucas Oil Raceway. Is this track being very racy. We saw a lot of good racing going on early on. And it's a 1 second lead. It's not like he, just got there because virtue of people pitting. He passed all those cars and only had Gary Eschen in front of him before Eschen took it to pit road. And I assume within the next few laps we should start seeing some more of our leaders come in, as Jim Cross comes down in the cross number 10. Will be on pit road for his scheduled pit stop. Is Philip Martin trying to work around second place Ryan Johnson, and Martin has come down pit road, so he's trying to get back to being 1 lap down. And you gotta wonder, Kelly, staying out longer, as this looks to be a green flag affair, is that going to hurt these drivers that are staying out, that these guys able to get back on to 1 lap down before they pit?
Well, it may hurt them a little bit, but if they can make these tires last and then do a nice long run at the end, as I'm watching Ryan Johnson right now, he is struggling to hang on to that 38 car. He is all sorts of loose through these corners. This whole last lap, he was pretty much sideways in the corners, and once again, you can see that back end trying to step out on him as he works through turn 4. Just behind him is Chad McLeod looking to get a couple of his laps back here. And as well, we are also seeing the 10 of Jonathan Cross coming out of the pits.
Yeah, and you got to remember here at IRP, you see on the backstretch that blue cone that Cross just went by. That is where you get out of pit road. You cannot hit the racetrack coming off of pit road until you go past that cone. So not only do you have to come down pit road and go down pit road speed, you got to make sure you don't make any mistakes on pit exit, or that's going to cost you a little bit more time for our pass-through. Your race leader coming down pit road.
Yep, so Bryan Hacker comes down to the pits. Ryan Johnson, despite the fact that he's getting loose through the corner, nearly drifting the thing through 3 and 4, he's going to stay out on the racetrack. He wants to have fresh tires at the end of this race, it seems. And he's going to maintain the lead for now, about 3 seconds over Mike Alexander, who is kind of mired in lap traffic that is working their way around him. He's got Dustin Shepard in front of him, and it looks like Rodney Huntoon trying to get through behind. Actually, Huntoon has not come down to pit yet, so Huntoon is now actually coming down to pit as we were saying that. So Huntoon into the pit entrance, same with Ryan Johnson. So once again, we are going to hand the race lead over to a driver that is going to keep going on that same set of tires. It is Mike Alexander taking over the race lead. And look just behind him, that's the 23 of Gary Eschen, still 2 laps down, and very shortly it will be only 1 lap as he is way much faster than Mike Alexander on those fresh tires.
Yeah, and you got to be in that 75 car. You just see the closing right there, and you see the 75 kind of wish-washing around the racetrack as Alexander, I think only him, Nelms, and Janjanin are the only leaders to have not come down the pit road as of yet.
Yeah, just a few cars that have decided to keep going on these same set of tires, and Mike Alexander's not looking too bad on them, at least at first glance, but as soon as you look at the lap times, as now he will come down pit road, as those lap times were way off the pace, and I think there's still a few more drivers that are electing to stay out, so Josh Nelms will now take over the race lead. He is one of, I believe, 2 drivers that have not come down pit road, as Dan Janjanin is also staying out on the racetrack.
Janjanin out there is Scott Austin on pit road. Philip Martin going to move into that 4th spot currently as they work around here. Bryan Hacker down 2 laps back out onto the racetrack. So right now they need Nelms and Janjanin all to come down pit road. Obviously they would take a wave around. That would trap a lot of fast cars down 2 laps, Kelly, as you alluded to. If that yellow silk were to fly here, working lap 72, as Nelms leads it over Janjanin, Martin, Nichols, and Shepard, your top 5.
Well, Nelms has come down pit road. Now we are watching Janjanin, who is low on the back straightaway, and he is coming down the pit road as well. So I think we'll be handing over the race lead to Philip Martin here in a moment. We'll have to see what the timing and scoring is here. I think he still has to come back around and clear another lap, but he is going to get around, looks like that's the 75 of Alexander coming out of the pits right now. So I believe it is Philip Martin and then Mike Alexander and then Randy Nichols for your top 3 at this moment.
Yeah, that's going to put Bryan Hacker back on the lead lap in about a 4-second lead for Philip Martin. So the Weltmeyer Motorsports number 46, or a 2-second lead, if I could do some math, Kelly, is out front over Randy Nichols. Shepard back 6 seconds. So pitting really there's making a big difference. Is the race leader that came down a few laps ago, Bryan Hacker, is some 18.5 seconds back from Philip Martin here.
Yeah, and we saw that the 75 of Mike Alexander went very long on his tires, and he is now still a lap back, though, just behind the leader of Philip Martin. However, it is now, instead of being a difference of about 50 laps between these sets of tires, Mike Alexander has only got about 18 laps fresher of tires compared to Philip Martin, so that difference in pace just isn't quite the same now, so it's going to be a little bit harder for him to get around the 46 and then still make up an whole entire lap to be able to challenge for this lead once again.
Yeah, right now Mike Alexander probably in the minority of drivers, maybe McLeod, Cross, Huntoon, Austin, who is inside the top 10, had raced his way to the top 10, finds himself trapped 1 lap down, maybe looking for a yellow flag in the RC2 Promotion 73 of Clavey was a little bit sideways there in front of Philip Martin. Clavey trying to stay only 2 laps down, but Martin with fresher tires going to try to work to his outside here in the turn number 3, and he will do so as Clavey gives way to the race leader.
Yeah, Philip Martin still holding a good lead over Randy Nichols, and that lead is increasing. It was 2.3 seconds now, as it was just 2 seconds a couple laps ago, though. Getting around that 73 car did cost them a small amount of time, but really not much in the grand scheme of things, only a couple hundredths of a second.
It sure did here, and these pit stops really shaking up the field, really spreading them out, Kelly. Is like you said, 2.2 seconds separating your top 2. Then it's another 4 seconds back to this man who's running in spot number 3, Dustin Shepard in that ZooFab garage number 89, running there in spot number 3. Gary Eschen is 4th, and rounding out your top 5 will be the 38 of Ryan Johnson, who finds himself some 12 seconds behind your race leader.
Yeah, it seems like it has really paid off for those drivers that gambled and came down early. It was a bit of a gamble because we keep mentioning if a caution had come out at that time, they would have likely gotten at least one lap back because of the wave round, as the leaders would have pit and they would have been between the leader and the pace car. But with how long the pit stops take in these cars and how short of a track this is, it was putting them 2 laps down. But it has worked out for Philip Martin. He was one of the first cars to come down pit road on lap 52. The only one driver was earlier than him was Randy Nichols, and he's running in second place. So those drivers that came down early, it seems to really have paid off for them.
It really has. Martin has kind of stabilized that race lead over Nichols. As we look back here, is the 75 starting to draw in a little bit closer to the 46. That would put him back on the lead lap, and Adam Gable in that 91 car wants that to happen in case there was. But now Hoffler coming down pit road. I don't know if this is a scheduled stop. Maybe this will get him to the end here, Kelly. I'm not sure. By my math is they were on pit lane around lap 60. The 68, I believe they should be good to go on fuel the rest of the way.
Yeah, so something up with the car for Travis Heffler is he is going to be coming down pit road, and just a quick stop though, so I don't know what that was all about. Is he basically just kind of stopped and went once again. I don't think there was any sort of penalty there, so maybe he did get a penalty coming out of the pit road. No, that was way too long ago, so I have no idea what happened to Travis Heffler, but it was just a quick stop, and once again he was on his way.
A little bit of a gas and go type deal. Is now the 75 of Alexander going to get back on the tail end of the lead lap, and Adam Gable is cheering for that to stay the same way. As Randy Nichols is really starting to close in. As you can see the difference in the tires, Kelly, they pitted about a lap difference, but Nichols really closing in on the backside of Martin, and actually Martin came in a lap later than Randy Nichols did.
Yeah, but Martin did just have to deal with letting that 75 of Alexander by. That cost him a little bit of time, but even still, that is over 2 seconds that Randy Nichols has made up over these last couple laps here. And just on that lap alone, I think he was about 0.3 that he was faster than Philip Martin. So Martin's starting to struggle here a little bit. We'll just have to see, though, if Nichols can get up to the tail end of the 46 car and maybe make a pass here for the race lead.
Yeah, we're looking right here. Nichols doing fairly decent lap times here as we look at the battle box here for first, and 0.3 of a second separating your top two, and it's 2 seconds back to Adam Gable, which will be the next car behind them as they all work through turns 1 and 2. So the battle for the race lead going to be a good one here. And you look at the pit strategy for your top 7 cars. They all came down. You can see Johnson, Hacker, Alexander all coming in past that halfway point, Kelly. So I believe as long as they got enough fuel in the race car, they should be able to make it the rest of the way. Martin, Nichols, Shepard, even Gary Eschen, very questionable.
Yeah, we'll have to see how long the fuel can last. I think Alexander made it the first. No, it was. I think Dan Janjanin and Josh Nelms made it the furthest on 72 laps. So we know they can make it that far. We'll have to see. It's going to be close for these guys, and we saw Travis Heffler come down a little bit ago for a quick stop. So maybe that was a sign that they didn't quite have enough fuel to make it.
I think it is possible, Kelly. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to do the math quickly. Now, this is why we're up here in the booth and not on top of one of the war wagons down on pit road. But I feel like definitely the drivers that came in 67 or later, as long as they pack the fuel cell full of that race fuel, they should be good to go. As we got a bid for the race lead, Randy Nichols all over the backside of Philip Martin. And I've been watching Martin's car. It's been a little bit slideways back on the gas. Nichols able to drive from the outside to the bottom lane, and he gets a little bit sideways that time off of turn number 4.
Yeah, Nick. Oh, I just heard something go bang there on the front straightaway, possibly. I don't know if that was maybe a driver that was in pit road. And I know Matt Dula has been sitting down there. Yeah, it was the engine of Matt Dula letting go, so he will not be coming back out on the racetrack. Randy Nichols now getting all over the back end of Philip Martin, getting a nose to the inside, just to the quarter panel. However, that high line has been the strongest line here tonight, and you can see why. You can carry so much more momentum as there's just a little bit more banking towards that top side. But now Nichols running all the way down that banking, trying to use that momentum to get himself ahead of Philip Martin. They're going to be side by side now into turn 3, and look at the slide there from Randy Nichols. Going to slide up in front of Martin, take away the race lead, and tap the wall off of turn 4. However, going to carry enough speed to hold on to the position and not allow Martin to make another attack into turn 1.
And as they've battled it out, Eschen has closed in now within 4.5 seconds of there as the 46 comes to pit road, Kelly. So Philip Martin coming to pit road. He was last on pit road on lap number 50. So he is coming down, which I would expect to be his final pit stop of the afternoon, as Randy Nichols now gains the race lead. And that makes me wonder, does Nichols have to come back down pit road? And he does.
So this makes me think that now those drivers that made the tires last and also made the fuel last are kind of going to be in the driver's seat now, as Ryan Johnson is one of the latest pitters at lap 68. I know Mike Alexander went to lap 70, so I would expect Alexander to have enough fuel to make it. And I was starting to get the feeling that these guys had come down pit road too early, because while you were talking a few moments ago, I looked through the laps leading up to Travis Heffler coming down pit road, and it was definitely for a fuel stop, because there was no reason that he would have had a penalty for a stop and go. So it was a quick splash and dash for him. So we'll have to see how many more drivers are going to have to make a second pit stop here tonight, or if Mike Alexander is going to be able to the one to make it last the longest.
Yeah, and I'm looking right now at the pit strategy, the stint lengths, Kelly. Eschen, your race leader, went 60 laps in that opening stint before coming down pit road. They are working lap 34 to put lap 35 on here. So Eschen, if he saved enough fuel after coming out of the pit stop, I think he could make it, but would be in trouble with a green-white checkered situation.
Yeah, there's a few other drivers that could possibly make it here. I know Ryan Johnson came down lap 68, Bryan Hacker on 67.
I feel
Eschen currently in the race lead is only pit on lap 60, so it would be close. I mean, we saw those guys on a full tank could go 70, so coming in on lap 60, I think he'd be able to make it.
Yeah, I think 60 is that magic number. I mean, even Dustin Shepard could, possibly on lap 57. It'd be tight for that 89 car, but he currently rides in second with a 7-second gap back to third place running Johnson. And Ryan Johnson and Bryan Hacker nose to tail right now. You got to be wondering what's going through and being said over the radio comms with both those drivers right now, knowing they pitted later, knowing that they can make it to the end, more than likely make it to the end. Do they push it right now, or do they kind of ride and see? I mean, they're 7 seconds back from Gary Eschen.
I mean, if they want to get themselves up towards the front, they need to start pushing soon, because the laps are ticking by. Next time around, we will be starting lap number 100 as Gary Eschen now goes around the 69 of Randy Nichols to put him a lap down, as it looks like Nichols is possibly struggling with those tires now, even after the pit stop. That stop would have only been for fuel, so he is still running those same old set of tires that he had put on back on lap 52.
It's a long way to go on those tires as Eschen trying to put the 91 of Gable a lap down, and that would leave 5 cars on the lead lap here as lap 100 about to go fully into the books as 101 starts right here for Gary Eschen. 25 laps to go.
And nearly a bit of contact between Dustin Shepard and Randy Nichols there coming down the front straightaway. Shepard just had so much more speed compared to Nichols and nearly swiped across that back bumper as he tried to get by. Now we also have this 5 of Scott Austin, and he is going to get around Nichols, and that is going to be for position. as well as Philip Martin there, as he's actually going to go all the way to the bottom. We're going to get 3 wide between these cars that are a lap down coming off of turn 4. It looks like that 46 car decides to back out. He'll just kind of slot back in, wait for a better opportunities. I don't think he really wanted to make that kind of risk here in this race.
And I feel like they're all trying to chase down the 91 of Gable right for that free pass. If the yellow flag were to come out here, 24 laps to go. The on-time 91 car is running in 6th for Adam Gable. And Gable doing a good job doing what he needs to do here. But, Kelly, if that yellow flag were to come out, he would be able to get that wave around, be able to pit and get fresh tires, as the rest of them would have to hope the leaders would come down pit road and get that wave around.
There's a little bit of 3 wide there coming off of turn 2, and it was the 5 this time that had to back out. Scott Austin going back there. There's once again 3 wide off of turn 4. The 89 car of Dustin Shepard is involved. He gets nearly sideways off of turn 4. That nearly sent him down into Philip Martin, as Martin is able to get himself through, get around Dustin Shepard and Randy Nichols as well. So that is going to be a position over Nichols. However, that 46 car still a lap down, still has to catch up to Gary Eschen, who is about 1.5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, and right now if you're Gary, knowing that you'll come down on lap number 60 and fuel could be close, seeing that you have the 3-lap car buffer between second place running Dustin Shepard, probably can take a little bit easy on that gas pedal, not run so hard. Try to save some of that fuel here as they come to 20 laps to go off of turn number 4. Philip Martin, though, he's going to take that free pass spot away from Gable. Here comes Randy Nichols as well, Kelly. He's going to work up underneath Gable, and he'll get by them as Scott Austin works around Dustin Shepard as he tries to make it a 4-car battle for the free pass.
Yeah, everyone just kind of fighting for a different track position here, as just a few of these good drivers might be hoping for a caution to come out and to possibly allow them another shot at the race lead here. That's pretty much the only hope they could have. I don't think Philip Martin has got the speed to both get around Gary Eschen and get a full lap back in the 20 laps that we have left in this race. Gary Eschen sitting in a very good position right now as long as he has got the fuel. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that 23 car if he can make it, or if he is saving fuel and maybe going to be losing a little bit of time to Dustin Shepard.
Yeah, I'm watching the battle right now on your screen. It is the battle for the 3rd spot, and it is a good one between Ryan Johnson and Bryan Hacker. Hacker trying to figure out a way to get around the Wisco number 38 as they work down in the turn number 1. He's been high, he's been low, he's been up and down. He's been everywhere but into the quarter panels of that 38 car, trying to find a way into that 3rd and final podium rung here tonight. And these 2 drivers, they could be the championship battles here coming out of IRP, as your series leader Dante Curtis is not in action here tonight at IRP.
Yeah, as mentioned, Dante Curtis having some new work obligations come out that may take him out of the championship contention entirely. So this could be your battle for the championship here as we are nearing the halfway point in the season. Bryan Hacker trying to get around Ryan Johnson. These two, only a few points separate them. I believe it was about 11 or 12 points separating these 2 drivers coming into this race. So even this position here in this race at the halfway point can be huge at the end of the season.
And they are quickly rolling in on the 89 of Dustin Shepard. They're only about 1.5 seconds back from the second place running Shepard, and he is quickly losing time to your race leader as Shepard working in the turn number 1. You got to believe maybe those tires shot, Kelly, as you can see only Nelms and Cross separating himself from Johnson and Hacker.
No, I was just about to say it was possible that he's saving, and that is what just came over the radio. Dustin Shepard is low on fuel. He is trying to save fuel to make it to the end of this race, and that is going to cost him, as now those 2 lap cars get around him. Now here comes Ryan Johnson and Bryan Hacker, and I don't think Shepard has got the fuel to defend against them. He's just going to have to run the line, try to just make them go the slower way around them. And that is what Ryan Johnson is going to do. He's going to go to that bottom side, and he's going to force the 89 car to take that higher line through 3 and 4. And with the fuel he's having to save, he is not going to be able to fight back. And that is going to allow Ryan Johnson to move into second place and Bryan Hacker up into third.
Yeah, Hacker moved that third spot. Now Johnson trying to put a lap car between himself and the two of Bryan Hacker. They've got just over 7 seconds to make up on your race leader of Gary Eschen, who just crossed the line with 12 laps to go. That's a long distance to go and not a lot of time to get there, Kelly, here as we close in on the later stages of the North Carolina Relief 125.
Yeah, and we've seen now that the 89 car who pit on lap 57 is not going to have enough fuel to make it to the end. Now we have to keep an eye on Gary Eschen still. Is he going to have enough fuel? He only pit 3 laps later than Dustin Shepard, so does he have enough to find the end of this race? He only needs about 10 and a half more laps to go as you're on lap 115 and he's working along that back straightaway. He does have the 69 car in front of him, so he has a little bit of draft help that might just save him a tiny bit of fuel, but is that going to be enough? 10 laps to go. Can Gary Eschen find the victory lane?
And right now, knowing you have a 7-second lap, I believe his spotter's got to be telling him, all right, you got 7 seconds. You can back it down a little bit. If fuel is even a question, he can back it down a little bit, give a couple seconds up and save some fuel, maybe get some insurance laps there for that 23 car. And, well, 9 laps to go, and that is growing because the battle for second is really heating up.
Yeah, as mentioned, this is not just for position here tonight. It is for possibly championship implications, as Bryan Hacker is still all over the bumper of Ryan Johnson. Johnson pulled ahead just a little bit there through 1 and 2, especially off of turn 2 there. And now once again coming into 3, Hacker closing that gap just a little bit. He is leaning on that right rear. You can see it trying to step out a little bit. These two drivers pit on very, very similar times. Hacker came down on lap 67, Johnson on lap 68, so very similar tire wear between the two drivers. It's really going to come down to the driving style here towards the end of this race.
You can see Johnson has been just a tick better. That time Bryan going to roll through the corner, look to the inside off a turn number 4. Can't do anything with him. 7 laps to go as Gary Eschen enjoys a 7.5 second lead as these two battle it out for that second position.
Yeah, still fighting for that spot as Johnson's starting to pull away. He's got about a quarter second up ahead of Hacker. Now Hacker lunging into turn 3, really leaning on that right front. We heard from the drivers earlier that it's going to be the right rear they have to baby. So sounds like they are just going to abuse that right front, or at least Hacker is into these corner entries.
Yeah, he's really just trying to make the 38 look in the rear view mirror, try to make him make a mistake. And Ryan Johnson, one of the veterans here, is now Hacker right to the back bumper, trying to loosen him up in the turn number 3. Can't quite get there, backs it off a little bit. It's a good run off of turn number 4, but so does it Johnson. He'll hold on to second with 5 to go.
Yeah, 5 to go. Gary Eschen still holding on to the race lead and increasing it. It is now nearly 7.5 seconds over Ryan Johnson. So if Gary Eschen is low on fuel, he is not showing it because he's not doing anything to save. He is keeping that thing pinned to the ground, and he is pushing as hard as he can to keep himself ahead of Hacker and Johnson, who are still fighting for these last 2 podium spots. Just behind them a little ways, Dustin Shepard has dropped all the way back now. He is under fire from Mike Alexander. Alexander has closed that gap up a little bit and is trying to move himself up into 4th place before this race is over.
Yeah, and those points, they matter towards the end here with 3 to go. Hoffler was back on pit road, Kelly, so that 20 car back into the 15th position now. As he comes off pit road, the battle for the number 2 as the popsicle sticks are up. It'll be 2 laps to go, this time off turn number 4 for Gary Eschen, who has a 7.5 second lead. And now Johnson able to put a little bit of ground between himself and the number 2 of Bryan Hacker, but 2 laps to go for Gary Eschen.
Yeah, Eschen still holding on. He has got enough fuel, it seems, and the idea is either he has enough fuel or he's trying to open up enough of a gap that he isn't going to get past as he coasts to the line, as he has got just 1.5 to go to get around here and see if he's going to be able to make it last. Johnson, though, having to defend against Bryan Hacker, who is still all over him, but Hacker just cannot find the line he needs to run to get around him.
Final lip trap final lap. I'll get it out here in a minute for Gary Eschen off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch for the final time. It will be Gary Eschen seeing turn number 3. He looking to come off of turn number 4. Checkered flag is out. And Gary Eschen is going to pick up the North Carolina Strong 125. Who's going to come home in second off of turn number 4? It'll be Ryan Johnson edging Bryan Hacker.
Oh, it looks like Johnson was slow off of 4 and had to just kind of cut across in front of Bryan Hacker, but he is going to hold on to second place. And the big question is, where did Dan Janjanin, how many laps did he finish? Actually, he is coasting off of turn 4. I think he's out of fuel. He's trying to make it to the end, and he is going to cross the line on lap 124. So 124 laps for him. So I believe that is going to be Matt Dula taking the money home.
We'll have to see. We'll wait for the official word from the admins. But, yeah, it looks like that in the big winner, every penny counts, Kelly, to help out the people in need, especially in the North Carolina region where this league is really a lot of their drivers come from. That's going to go a long ways, like I said. And that dollar amount that we said, $191 and a quarter, that could be higher if you have donated during this race. Remember, you can still donate to the North-South Racing League at gmail.com. For PayPal is Dan Janjanin completing a race, Kelly. I know they like to pick on him about it, but good job for Janjanin. Going to go home in fourth as we get ready to go in our ZooFab garage. Post-race show is the 23 burns it down here on the front stretch. Kelly and I will make our way out of the booth and head down there. We'll step away for a quick second. We'll be right back here on the Turn 3 Racing Network for our post-race show.
Bowling brings people together.
Right down the middle. You got it. Uh-oh. Good job.
See what you can do, man.
Oh. Wait.
That's a strike right there. Woo! Connect with family and friends. Go bowling.
Welcome back here to the Turn 3 Racing Network, where the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series has just come to an end, where we see Gary Eschen pick up the win as we are down track side with the driver of the number 23 of Gary Eschen. And Gary, you said you liked your chances here when we talked to you in the RC2 Promotions redraw. And you're going to find yourself here in victory lane at IRP. How close, the first question is, how close were you on fuel at the end of this one?
I finished with 0.2.
So close.
Yeah, I don't think I would have made it another lap. It was like 0.7 of a lap, so I don't think I would have made it, but hey, it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, talk about this race. The pit strategies were wild all around this one. We saw a lot of people coming down pit road in different times. Are you coming down on lap number 60 and then stretching it for 65 laps here? Talk us through this race, man. It was a long one. How do you keep your attention and hitting the marks here? Our IRP, one of the tricky tracks here on the service.
I wasn't the fastest during practice or even qualifying at that. I just knew I had good long run speed, and at the end of our first pit stop, my tires were still fairly well. Like I could have probably win another 30-40 laps on them and not been mad about it. So just the drive at the end, keeping looking at the times and how far they were back. As long as I can make it on fuel, I knew I had a pretty good chance of winning this one.
Well, you're going to pick up the win, and you're going to come out of here. Next week, though, we are one of our special events there on the schedule. We head back to Florida, and, the hurricane just getting through there, and, our thoughts and prayers to everybody still affected by the hurricanes around the country here. But you're going to head to Five Flags Speedway for a 200-lap affair. You're going to have to start tailing there, but 200 laps, a long ways to go. How are you at the Five Flags Speedway? That track, a tough one on tires.
I would say I'm 100 times better at Five Flags than I am at this racetrack. So, the only downfall is going to be starting in the tail. But as long as we can keep it clean and, we're pretty good on our pit strategy as well, I think we'll be right there at the end, hopefully for a podium at least, if not the W.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how you come through there, through the field. That track, a lot of different lanes there, but like I said, a little bit hard on the tires. But, man, congratulations on this win here tonight. It's going to be a big shot in the arm for your championship hopes here tonight, and really interesting to see how the points shake up out of here. But who makes it all possible for this 23 car to be in victory lane here at IRP?
I would like to thank my mother. She comes over and babysits my little one while I race every Monday night, and my teammates, DCD, Dustin and Philip, and unfortunately, Dante couldn't be here tonight. But hey, we still put one of their cars in victory lane, so that's pretty cool. I'd like to thank all the admins for all the hard work they do on behind the scenes to keep this league going, and all my friends and family that watch, and you guys, of course, for doing a great job at broadcast. I enjoy going back and watching them after the race. Well,
we thank you for the kind words. I think he's mainly talking to you, Kelly, about the good job thing there. But Gary Eschen, you're going to pick up that win here, and you're going to continue the streak, our 6th different winner of the season, as we head into Five Flags in 1 week's time. Congratulations, my friend, on winning the North Carolina Strong 125 here tonight.
All right, thank you. Have a good night, guys.
There you hear it is the driver of the 23, Gary Eschen, picking up that win, Kelly. And I believe you've caught up with the man they call Tiny Horse, coming home in spot number 2.
Yeah, here now with the driver of the number 38, Ryan Johnson. And Ryan, it was a long race tonight, but did you expect it to go flag to flag like this?
No, not really. IRP is fun, and we normally have a lot of good racing, but normally there's some cautions. I'm kind of glad it did. I miss these kind of races. They're a lot of fun.
Well, did you even factor in the strategy of what would be required for a full flag-to-flag race like this? Because it seems like there was a few drivers that made the pit call a little bit too early and did not expect to have to run all the way green to the end.
Yeah, I was planning a little bit with, when I saw the size of the field, I was planning a little bit for some pit strategy, fuel strategy. I wasn't sure how the tires would hold up. I knew we were going to be burning the right rears off pretty good, and I did a really good job of that the first run. Thought I was driving it easy, and I was definitely not. So I was just trying to hang on for all I could, and I had a little bit of an idea, but I still underfueled a little bit, so I was having to save that second run, and man, I was surprised Hacker didn't wreck me. He was bumper to bumper, I don't know how many times.
Well, next week we are going to be moving on to the Five Flags Speedway for our second showdown event of the year. What are you expecting there from 200 laps around the Five Flags Speedway?
Oh man, I'm kind of expecting some more of what we had tonight. Maybe not flag to flag, but some really clean and green racing with these guys, some strategy, and I really like that track, so probably see a lot of good racing there too.
Well, thanks for coming out and talking to us, Ryan. Before we let you go, though, who would you like to thank for your second place run here tonight?
Just all the admins here at North South. Keep putting this on, and everybody keeps coming back. You guys for broadcasting, coming on this year. All my teammates, everybody tuning in, everybody that donated to the raffle we had going on tonight. And feels good to get some donations in there, try and help some people out for the unfortunate events that happened. But yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. Hopefully, we will hear from you again next week at the Five Flag Speedway. But congratulations once again on your second place finish, and we'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, guys.
That is Ryan Johnson, driver of the number 38, our second place finisher here tonight. Now we're going to move along, send it back to Al, who is caught up with our third place finisher.
Yeah, we're standing down here track side with the number 2 car of Bryan Hacker, and Bryan drove from the tail of the field to the lead in that opening stint there. Came down pit road on lap, I believe it was 67, somewhere around in that range, and going to come home with a P3 finish here in an all-green affair at the North Carolina Strong 125. Talk us about your race.
Yeah, I mean, overall, can't be upset with it starting last, so glad to be on the podium, glad to be talking to you in one piece. Felt like we had the speed tonight to, maybe do something. It's obviously tough, coming from the back. I think did a pretty good job that first run saving tires, and we're able to get up there and challenge the top 5. And then second run, I know Ryan didn't take enough, and he kind of backed up to me, and then I didn't want to run him over. I felt faster than him. I think my tires eventually went away because I was trying not to get him on entry. I was waiting. I told him I was waiting for my spotter to say leader on pit road, and as soon as it was us battling for the win, I was maybe going to get a little bit more aggressive, but I didn't want to do it for second. But I don't know how Gary did it, but kudos to him for saving enough to pull this thing out and really gave us a whooping in the process.
He told us when he crossed the line he had 0.2 left on the fuel tank there. So a very close finish there. A lot of the strategies all over the place. And part of the North-South Racing League ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series that makes it interesting, especially when you guys get those long green flag runs. I'll be one. I was talking to Kelly before we went on air, and I was like, well, I think we'll at least maybe get 1 or 2 yellow flags here tonight, and you guys go green to checkered. And a very interesting race. Up at the beginning of this one, everyone all over each other. Then those pit stops really kind of spread you guys out.
Yeah, I think pit stops, everybody doing different strategies and pitting at different times. It definitely spread us out. I like seeing everybody kind of stacked up on each other that first run. It gave me a chance to kind of catch up to the leaders there a little bit. We were able to get through the field better than I anticipated, so we got up there and started, dicing it up with the top 5. I think we had enough tire there at the end of that first run, and I don't like pitting. I think everybody knows it. I'm not the first one or the last one to voice my opinion about pitting and street stock cars, but it is what it is. It's part of the league rules. Everybody's got to play by the same rules. So if it were me, we would have gone straight through tonight and had enough fuel to make it to the end. And, I think people would have had to pit for tires regardless. The tires were really falling off there after about 50 or 60 laps. But, it's fun. It's fun to race with these guys. No yellows tonight's commendable given, the couple of races we've had this year. So nice to get a lengthy green flag run in.
Well, congratulations on that third place finish, Bryan. Going to be a big shot in the championship battle here. Is you and Ryan came in, close together in points. Dante missing tonight's racing shows is really going to shake up the top 10 in the points here. We look forward to see what you can do the rest of the season. Next week we head to Five Flag Speedway. We'll see what you can do down there. But who makes it all possible on this number 2 car to be here on the podium?
Yeah, Scott Austin Designs. Good looking ride. We might stick with this black one here for a while. We haven't finished off the podium in the black one when we finished anywhere but near the podium with any other looking cars. So I think the black one will stick around for a little while. So thanks to him. Carbon Junction, Aberdeen Lodge, Boulder Beer Bar, the guys at this league for making it happen. Ryan for running clean there. Gary for the win. Nice job by Gary being the first multi-time winner this season, and like he said, Dante missed. I think it sounds like some real positive life events. So cool, cool for him in the grand scheme of things. But we'll miss him here at North South if he's unable to make it on Mondays. So I think 200 laps next week. At least we don't have to start last. But I guess if there's ever time to start last, 200 laps gives you some time to get up to the front.
Well, we look forward to see what you can do there, Brian. Congratulations on a podium here at the North Carolina Strong 125. We look forward to see you next week down in sunny Florida at the Five Flag Speedway.
Thanks, guys. Happy Thanksgiving, Kelly.
Well, thank you.
Well, Kelly, that will do it for our post-race show for the top 3 cars, but I believe you've caught up with a man that did not really have the greatest night on the racetrack, but he's going to walk out with a little bit deeper pockets and a lot of money going to charity tonight.
Yeah, we're going to catch up now with Matt Dula. And Matt, it is official. You are the winner of the waffle here. So congratulations to you. I'm hoping you're very excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to. More than anything, I'm just elated that the North-South Racing League wanted to put this on for the people of Western North Carolina. It's been, obviously, as everybody knows, ravaged by a once in over 1,000 year storm that's just devastated the area, left some places potentially uninhabitable for a while, ruined water systems, roads, the infrastructure is just destroyed. And that's also the case in Boone, North Carolina, home of Appalachian State, where I attended college. So we wanted to do something that would be productive for the region, and that's why we chose the Hunger and Health Coalition, which has been a long existing nonprofit in Boone, North Carolina. They service the homeless population, also just like underpaid and impoverished people, or anybody that really needs the assistance in Boone with things like pharmaceuticals and basic living essentials like food and water. So they had a need, and we were able to attempt to provide some sort of assistance for them. And so it sounds like the turnout was pretty good. We've got a good amount of the pot that's going to be going to the Hunger and Health Coalition, and I'm personally going to take the winnings that I have and just take the break-even amount. So any excess that I made by winning this, I'm just going to donate back to the Hunger and Health Coalition as well.
Well, the official tally for the final pot is $280. So 210 of that is going to go directly to the charity, and you are going to get 70 for you to do as you please. As you mentioned, you're going to probably funnel most of that back to the charity.
Yep, absolutely. I think that whenever you're in the position to do something good for people who are struggling, I think that it's a moral obligation to do so. So I'm looking forward to be able to provide that to them, and hopefully that's any little bit helps, and I hope that provides some level of assistance to some families up there that really need it.
All right, Matt. Well, congratulations once again. Thanks for coming out and talking to us about the charity that we are sending all this money to, and really like to say a big thanks to everyone that did donate, and especially to the NSRL for putting this on. I mean, this is a great amount of money that has been raised by a small community, so very admirable for the whole community and for Matt here for sending a lot of his winnings back to that charity. So great job from everyone involved, and I think it's just a great show of camaraderie from everyone involved in this.
Absolutely. I just really appreciate everybody that's been involved with this, and looking forward to help in whichever ways we can. And, we'll all come, stronger together.
All right, Matt, thanks for coming out and talking to us. Hopefully we'll hear from you again in a week's time, but we'll let you go for tonight. And congratulations once again for picking the right amount of laps for Dan Janjanin.
Thanks, y'all. Take care.
All right, so that was Matt Dula, the winner of the waffle that we were talking about all throughout the night. Again, that was the who could predict what the amount of laps that Dan Janjanin would complete, and he completed just one off of the full race distance at 124 laps. So, as mentioned, that is a $280 that was raised by this community. So, a great cause that has been supported by the NSRL. And Al, I think this has just been a good race all around with everything involved.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about that, Kelly. I mean, it's just a short amount of time to raise that amount of money, and I believe that will be 200. I think if my math is correct, roughly well over $200 going to help, and that's going to provide a little bit of a light in a dark situation, right? Like Matt was saying, once in a lifetime storm going through there, and a lot of damage. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff coming out of North Carolina and other areas. It's not just North Carolina that was affected, but other areas as well. So if you can donate, to the cause, or the relief programs and stuff like that, please do so. It does go a long way to help these people get back on their feet a little bit quicker. In our hearts and go out to those people that were affected, not only from Hurricane Helene, but also from Hurricane Milton that went through Florida last week, just over the past about a week ago now. So it's hurricane season still going on. So keep our fingers crossed that it misses the rest. That the storms just go out to sea for the rest of the season. But what a great night of racing here for the North Carolina Strong 125 is Gary Eschen. It did slip by me, but he will be our first repeat winner of the season. I said it was our 6th different winner. I was wrong, Kelly. So he's going to pick up the win here tonight. Have to start back in our extra distance race 1 week from tonight at Five Flag Speedway. Really looking forward to that one. I think 200 laps around that place I think we're going to have an awesome race once again with the North-South Racing League's ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series.
Yeah, we had a great race here tonight, the first race of the season that went flag to flag. And I mean, it is going to be hard to do that as well at Five Flag Speedway, considering that there's going to be 200 laps. And this week, we really actually kind of got a little lucky on not getting a caution, because there was a driver that spun early on and got into the wall, but they were just in a spot that did not bring out a caution. So all it really takes is just one person to get a little bit loose off of a corner to bring out a caution and really change the landscape of a race. So we'll have to see if that is going to happen next week in our 200 lapper, or if someone's going to be able to just marathon this whole race and run flag to flag for the win.
I think it'll be interesting to see, but we want to thank you all for tuning on in here tonight to the ZooFab Garage Street Stock Series. And just a quick reminder, ZooFab Garage is your one-stop shop for fabrication and power on your performance vehicle, track car, or street car. Find them on Facebook to contact them and start your project today. We also would like to thank Kelly's Custom Engraving. Kelly, what are you going to get me from them? Have you been checking them out on Facebook?
I have not yet. I mean, there's some good engraving spots around town as well, but I mean, I do need some engraving done for some events coming up, so might have to peek in on that and see what they have offers.
Well, check them on Facebook to see all their amazing products, and maybe you can place that order, for me or your other events you got going on. I like things, Kelly. Just dropping some hints there. But Kelly's Custom Engraving, a proud sponsor of the ZooFab Garage Series here, is also RC2 Promotions, is a iRacing special event organizer that can help manage your special events. They offer quality consulting, event planning and promotions, and full service events management for competitive pricing. If you have an idea for a special event, RC2 Promotions can make it happen. They handle every aspect of your event, from recruiting competitors to race day management. With 7 years of experience on iRacing and over 10 years of experience in special event planning, RC2 Promotions can make your idea a reality. Inquiries can be made to Robbie at facebook.com RC2RP. Wizards Design, a sign shop that specializes in logos for streamers, signs with LED lighting, laser cut wood, and changing colors. Also make beanbag boards, flag designs, and much more. Check them out on Facebook for all their projects. J&G Flooring is a family-owned business that started back in 2005, located in Christiana, Tennessee. I totally butchered that, Kelly. And serves all of Middle Tennessee. Owners Josh and Brandon have a combined 35 years of experience to serve all of your flooring needs. From new construction, remodels, or even small repairs, for estimates and scheduling, call 615-904-2218. And the Randy Nichols enjoying some of these here tonight, the Dullewiser Pole Award. And we are a proud sponsor of the NSRL. Dullewiser, located in Columbus, Ohio. Cold brews, good times, and political conversations. And, of course, the drink of choice here in the post races. Dullewiser is the official drink of the NSRL. Dullewiser asks all drivers to please drink responsibly. Well, Kelly, that will do it for us here tonight. We thank all those sponsors. We thank everybody for tuning on in. We hope to see everybody in 1 week's time when we head down to the Five Flag Speedway. On behalf of Kelly Dahl and everyone here at the Turn 3 Racing Network, we thank you for tuning on in. My name is Upstate Al. We'll see you in Turn 3. Good night, everybody.